Good evening, everyone. Today we have Mr. KVG Rao with us, and he will be educating us on Criminal Code of Procedure (CRPC) 154, subsection 3, and sharing his experiences with us. So, speaking of Mr. KVJ Rao, he is from the aviation industry, and he has been exposing corruption in DGCA, BCAS, Air India since the past many years. And he is also a very well-known, renowned criminal law activist as well. And he helps the fellow activist and whoever approaches him for help. His primary goal is to create awareness and educate people like us who are there on the webinar. And not only that, he takes sessions and helps law students, sitting judges who are currently delivering judgments in various different courts, and the former judges as well, ranging from magistrate court, district court, high court, etc. So let's hear it out from Mr. KVJ Rao. Okay, without wasting any time. Before that, we would like to thank BCBA Vasai for giving us access to the Zoom account so that we could record the session and later on put it out on YouTube. Okay. Rao sir, please take over and start the session, please. Sir, you will have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Neeraj. Thanks for that introduction. And I welcome everybody onto this small webinar that we were hosting. This is basically because most of us here are activists who are fighting the system at some point or the other, either by their personal issues or societal issues. And they do face a lot of hurdles. Fighting corruption or fighting up for your right has never been a rose of beds for anybody. And we all know how difficult it is to get anything done in the system today. I mean, we normally say if you can't beat the system, join the system, but I don't think we should join the system. If you're different, you need to act differently, you need to think differently and do things differently. That would be the difference between you and the rest of us. Having said that, let me start. We all know what the process of filing complaints with the police are. Any complaint given to a police, either orally or in writing, revealing cognizable offenses, it is mandatory for the police to file an FIR. And this has also been held by the Supreme Court in a numerous judgments. And the last one is a constitution bench, which is Lalita Kumari versus the state of Uttar Pradesh, 2013. In that, the Supreme Court made it very clear that no discretion lies with the police inspector or the police officer to refuse you from filing the complaint. The Honorable Supreme Court has also given 6 parameters for which a preliminary investigation can be conducted by the police officer. The preliminary investigation, let me make it very clear to you, is only to find out whether cognizable offenses are made out in your complaint. If there are no cognizable offenses, the police officer need not file your complaint. He can file a non-cognizable offense under section 155. By law, the police officer is supposed to take that 155 to the magistrate's court and obtain an order to start investigation even into a non-cognizable offense. However, that is seldom done, and we have to move court at our own costs. I do agree that costs and lawyer fees are a deterrent in many people coming forward to file complaints. But to be very honest with you and with due respect to all lawyers, it is not difficult if you follow the procedure to get an FIR registered. Having said that, if the police officer refuses to file an FIR under section 154 of the CRPC, the next option is you need to make an application to the district SP, or in the metropolitan cities is the DCP of the zone. You make an application to him, you inform him that you went to the police station on so and so day, submitted your complaint, but no cognizance was taken by the police and no FIR was filed by the police. And hence you are seeking his intervention. For those of you all who have attended the webinars by Shri Jagirdar sir, you know that 154.3 is a quasi-judicial function of the DCP or the SP. Now, what is the DCP or SP supposed to do when he receives a complaint under section 154.3 of the CRPC? I keep repeating section 154.3 of the CRPC because your letter to him should read that that application is made under 154.3. Otherwise, it would be like any other letter written to him, which gives him the discretion to sit on that letter and not act on it. And that is exactly why I told you in the beginning that section 154.3 is a quasi-judicial order. Therefore, the DCP will have to go through your complaint and see if cognizable offenses have been made out. If cognizable offenses have been made of, then it is his responsibility to get that FIR filed. Either he will file it himself or he will direct the concerned police station to file the said FIR. Having said that, once you make an application to the SP or the zonal DCP, the normal time given is approximately 15 days for him to react. We have to understand that they also have other work to do. However, this is one of their responsibilities as well, which they cannot shirk. Now, when you make an application under 154.3, the SP or the DCP has only three options. One is direct the filing of an FIR. If that order to direct the filing of an FIR is given, kindly understand you can make the police inspector an accused in the said complaint of yours because he has not followed the direction of the law under section 166A of the IPC. The second option for the DCP is to then also initiate action, departmental action on his own against the concerned police officer who has refused to file the FIR in the first instance. You also have the option of filing a contempt against the police officer. The third option that the DCP or the concerned SP has is that he can refuse to file the FIR. However, he will have to give you a reasoned order. Like I said, 154.3 is a quasi-judicial order, and he's doing a judicial job now to find out whether the police inspector of the concerned police station was right in refusing, and if he has refused, under what section he has refused, or what is his observation, why the FIR is not mandated, and how no cognizable. It has to be a detailed, reasoned order. It is not a one-line dismissal order. Therefore, when you make that application to the DCP, I repeat once again, title it as an application under section 154(3) of the CRPC. So it binds him to the time frame. It binds him to take a decision. And if he doesn't take a decision within the 15 days, it is then that you need to move the concerned jurisdictional magistrates court under 156(3). And there you can make the DCP also an accused because he has not performed his duty. Because 156(3) of the CRPC, if you read, it is very clear. It is only a peremptory reminder to the police by the magistrate to perform his duties when cognizable offences have been revealed. So if the magistrate finds cognizable offences have been revealed and they have not filed the FIR, he can direct them to file the FIR. By law, investigation into a cognizable offense can only be done by the police. No other agency, including the courts, can conduct any investigation. It is the sole function, jurisdiction with the police to investigate cognizable offenses. That is why you will find court-monitored investigation, but never a court investigation. The court can monitor the investigation. Under section 156(3), there are wide powers to the magistrate to monitor the investigation. However, the magistrate cannot give an order for any other investigating agency to conduct an investigation barring the police. Therefore, 154(3) is a very good weapon if we can use it right. It takes a lot of effort, but like I said, if you need to get things done, you need to do it yourself. And nothing better than to know the law and to do it better. So anytime you feel that your complaint is not being taken by a police inspector, you can go to the DCP or the SP and get it done. I can go into details. I have filed many applications. They have not been converted to FIRs. I have moved the Honorable Court, Magistrates Court. We have got orders to file the FIR. And it is not an uphill task. It is not impossible. It is possible provided you are willing to take the trouble. There are many advocates who help you out. In this forum also, there are many advocates that will help you out, that will listen to you, help, maybe draft letters for you. I draft a lot of letters for a lot of people. I do appear for some of my colleagues and some of my friends before the Honorable Magistrates Court. Of course, they have to give permission, their authority in writing, and the court normally grants permission. So always be very, very particular in what your complaint should be very specific. And if you can pinpoint it down to the sections of the IPC, it is nothing. It is the best thing that you can do. And if you can also quote the relevant judgments, it will help bolster your case, and it will make the person who's not acting think 10 times. The normal refrain of the police is, if you're not happy with me, go to court. And he makes this statement because he lacks accountability and he knows that you might not have the money to have lawyers to fight your case. But let me tell you, for a 156.3 order, it is very, very simple, a simple application, sequence of events, what are the IPC sections, and if you have corroborating evidence to it, you can add that evidence. And based on that, the Honorable Court will pass an order under 156.3. There are multiple judgments to bolster your case. If you go onto the website of the petitions group, you will find a PowerPoint presentation by me, which has all the judgments on it. It's a 90 page, I think it's a 92 page PowerPoint that I prepared. It gives you all the citations. It gives you the relevant paragraphs. It gives you the relevant pages. Therefore, for all of us who are fighting the system at some point of time, this is how you need to go about getting your police complaint registered. They will harass you, they will trouble you, they will call you to the police station, they'll make you sit outside. Because I've had conversations with a few police officers, and I said, why do you make people wait outside? They saying, Sahib, bus, he will sit down for some time, anger will cool down, and then he'll go home. So we don't have to do our work. He doesn't want our work to be done. So these are normal tactics. Otherwise, they will call you at all odd hours. Let me make it very clear, you need not visit the police station after 8 o'clock in the evening. If they call you, tell them I'll come tomorrow morning. The police normally have a tendency to call you up and say, Arey, come to the police station, there is a complaint against you. Do not visit the police station till you get a notice from the police station in writing that a complaint has been lodged. There is a recent judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court, Arnesh Kumar, where a police officer, if the offense allegedly committed by you and the punishment is less than 7 years, the police need not arrest you. They will issue a notice under section 41A of the CRPC, and you will have to join the investigation. When you get that letter, kindly don't ignore it. Address it. To harass you, police might come and pick you up in the night. Of course, today now they are a little bit wary thanks to social media, thanks to webinars like this. They are a bit wary. You can see like on YouTube and on WhatsApp, there are so many videos going about corruption in the police and all that. So they are a bit wary. But are they scared? No, they're not. Because we have made them as powerful as they can be. Because we never thought of questioning them.
Oh, sir, sorry to
Yes, sir.
interrupt, but
Yeah.
could you share your experience with DCP Zone 8 of the Mumbai Police, Mr. Manjunath Singhe?
Yeah.
Okay, on how many 154.3 applications you have submitted to him, how many reminders you have to give him, and what exactly happened? Okay, because I believe you had a meeting also with him recently,
Yeah.
and how he
Yeah.
decided to
Yeah.
tackle you very
Let me.
smartly, and
Yeah.
I believe that is the reason why we are having this webinar, in order to share your experience, so
Yes, I
that if
will.
any common citizen goes to any DCP or SP
Yeah.
under CRPC 154.3, at least they will be prepared, and they will know what to say and what not to say, and how to argue it out before the concerned authority. If the concerned authority is are into malicious act, and they have decided that they will not pass an order, however they will not order for an FIR as well.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll do that. Not to worry. Like I have been exposing corruption in a number of places, and I've been filing complaints with the concerned police station. Like my area of exposure is normally between Sahar police station, airport police station, and uh, the zonal DCP is zone 8, Mr. Manjunath Shinge. I mean, I've been addressing a number of, I mean, at least 12 applications I've made under section 154.3 to him. He was sleeping on it. We did file complaints with some authorities, and we were lucky that we were directed to meet him. So I met him on Tuesday at 4:30 in the evening. And as usual, you see, they are IPS. They think they know everything. They do know. The irony is they know the law, but how they obfuscate when you approach them is what we need to be wary and scared about. Like when I met him for the first time, he asked me, the first question he asked me is, what is your loci standi to file these complaints? Let me make it very clear to you, under criminal law, there is nothing called loci standi. In civil law, it does exist because you need to be affected in civil law in some manner to to file a complaint or file a case or file a suit or file a writ or whatever. However, in criminal matters, any citizen, or for that matter, any individual who sees an offense being, a cognizable offense being committed, can file the complaint to the police station. So there is nothing called loci standi. You see, by using these words, loci standi, they try to intimidate you. So don't get intimidated. You have to get your facts right. Let me make things very clear to you. You have to get your facts right. And to intimidate you, they will do many things. Like there are contempt applications filed against me. There are a lot of things happening. Well, that is another matter. We will discuss that another time. The second question he asked me is, what are your complaints? So I said, this is looting of government funds around the tune of 2 crores, 3 crores. So he said, then why don't you take it to the economic offense wing? So I said, first you have to file my FIR. If the amount goes over 3 crores, then it is you who have to recommend it to the economic offense wing. It is not the other way around. So they were like, he was again flabbergasted. So the next thing he said, Arey, but this is all within the department. So what? I mean, can you imagine somebody is looting government money and a police officer is telling you, oh, it's departmental, it's okay, they can do it, let the department complain. You think if the boss is encouraging corruption, he's going to complain? I mean, any boss, this is not particular, I'm just talking in general. Any boss who colludes with his employees to loot the company, you think he's going to go and file an FIR? And if it is interdepartmental, then the police have to explain to me if there are fights in the slum, or if there is a complaint between a builder, a developer, and an individual. It is a matter between them why the police should file FIRs. If I slap you, the matter is between you and me. Why the police should come into the picture? So, so I explained to him. I said, sir, it is not departmental. There are judgments on this which clearly state that even all the police or the trial court have to look at a complaint as are cognizable offenses revealed. Nothing beyond that. The next question he asked me is, if you're not happy with me, why don't you go to court? So I told him that, I thanked him for the advice he gave me, unsolicited though. I said, if I have to go to court, I will go to court. I don't need your advice for me to go to court. If I had to go to court, and if courts were to do everything, then why do we need police? Even after court orders, how many times do the police conduct a proper investigation? You have to go back to court again under 156(3). And if you can prove that there are malified intentions of the investigating officer, then you can move the Honorable High Court. But these are ways that a senior officer tries to obfuscate the issues. Then I asked him, I said, are you even aware how many complaints I have filed? So he said, no, my officers will write to you. I said, why should your officers write to me? I am talking of application under 154(3) which have come to you. It has already passed the stage of 154. The moment you take 154 to 154(3), it ousts the police inspector or the concerned police station. Now the ball is totally in the court of the DCP. And he said, I'm not aware how many you've sent. Anyway, we'll reply to them. I asked him for a time frame. He was non-committal. And he was not very happy. And I was arguing my case very vehemently, which he did not like. In fact, he said, don't raise your voice. And I said, I'm not raising my voice. I'm presenting my arguments. She said, are you arguing with me? I said, no. I'm giving justification for how my complaints merit an FIR. And nothing beyond that. And let me tell you, it is very difficult to get an appointment to meet these people. They will tell you, come tomorrow 4:30. You go there at 4:30, they'll make you wait till 8 o'clock and then say, Sahib, daurevar gele. Atta yetta basa tumi. Like once I went to meet him, he's saying, sir is gone somewhere. So why don't you come afterwards? The moment you leave, sir will come. You see, they are all hand in glove to help some of the accused. That is what I have found in my cases. And I'm remitting my program to the cases that I have dealt with. And no police officer can even refuse to register an offense that has taken place outside his jurisdiction also. There is the recent judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in Riya Chakravarti's case. But you will never find any police officer wanting to file an FIR on his own or on your complaint. Simply. It is very difficult. And it is very difficult because these people do not have accountability. And they will give their bosses a story. Oh, sir, that gentleman, he's a nuisance, sir. He's a nuisance. He has problems with the company. He has problems with that. I don't disagree. I might have problems with anybody, but Do my complaint contain facts? Does my complaint contain cognizable offenses? That is all that is required for the police inspector to file the FIR. Whether it is, what would I say, revenge, there is no revenge because there cannot be revenge if I cannot prove my complaint, I can be taken to task under 211. And that is what the Supreme Court has also held. In fact, the Supreme Court has held that even if a false complaint is given to you, revealing cognizable offenses, you will file the FIR, conduct the investigation, and if you find that it is a false or a frivolous case, initiate action against the complainant under 211. But the police don't want to go that whole gamut. I mean, can you imagine there is an affidavit filed in the Bombay High Court by the accused, three of the accused, that they got a call from the police station informing them that the court has ordered an FIR against them. So what more collusion do we look at between the police and the accused? And the accused were granted interim stay despite him admitting in his affidavit that yes, I have suppressed my criminal FIR. Okay, so imagine the accused is admitting in the affidavit before the Honorable Bombay High Court that yes, he has suppressed his FIR and obtained pecuniary gains. And the police have not filed an FIR. They have not even objected to the stay order. Can you believe it that the notice of the court was not served on me? And after obtaining the stay, the police did not produce that stay order before the Honorable Magistrates Court. That much is the collusion between the police and the accused at times. And the poor magistrate is passing order after order. It is only when I moved and I said I will be filing contempt petition that the DCP, the former DCP, he gave me a copy of the stay order. So there is a lot of collusion that goes on between vested interests. And all this, I can only say, gives rise to a presumption that there must be gratuities involved.
So, Rao sir, you mean to say that the police officers who were involved in this were very bold and they were not scared of the judiciary also?
No, they're not.
Yeah, because I believe judiciary has much more power compared to police department.
Sir, they see, unfortunately, let me tell you, right or wrong, unfortunately, the judiciary is also lax. Because they are briefed at times. And it is surprising that on the date of a hearing of a 156(3) application against a police officer, the police officer is sitting in the chambers of the magistrate. Can you believe that?
That in itself shows that they are glove in hands and pollution is being produced.
Yes, you rarely find somebody with a conscience, somebody with a spine.
So unfortunately, we don't have any CCTVs, so it becomes difficult to prove that that particular officer was sitting in the chambers of the honorable magistrate or judge.
Neeraj, today with CDR records, they can't avoid, no?
True, sir.
They can't avoid.
So during your meeting with DCP Zone 8, Mr. Manjunath Shinge, I believe while making your argument, you were being very polite, super polite, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but
because you were addressing him as sir and you were ending your arguments with sir.
sir, exactly. That is how like I am talking to you now also. And this is exactly how I was talking with him. Only thing is my pitch went up maybe one notch up when he was not accepting what I was saying. When he was trying to, make me run around the bush. It is but natural.
So instead of passing an order under CRPC 154.3, which he is supposed to do as per the law,
Mm.
he wanted you to go to the court.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that you're
Huh.
you're doing the running around and he's sitting in his AC office.
And we are not talking about 1 star, 2 star, 3 star officer such as API,
See,
PI, PSI, senior PI. We are talking about an officer who is of IPS cadre, DCP.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
Neeraj, to be very honest, why does this happen? Water always flows from the top to the bottom. You get good officers on the top, so you will get good decisions that come down. And this is one of the incidents that happened. This meeting was not granted to me by Mr. Manjunath Singh on his own volition. Okay. And even before I could talk to him, he had already got a message that meetings had taken place. See, they are all fraternal. Because at the end of the day, they all have to live together.
True, sir. And I believe after having the conversation with the concerned DCP, I believe you, whenever you go to any police station or to any DCP office and meet the concerned authority, you put out the points in the email and send it to
Correct.
them so that it stays on
Correct. I
record.
have to. Because tomorrow, what if I say something after 15 days, the law will say it's an afterthought, no?
Correct. So I believe that is also a very good
Of
practice,
course,
which should be
you
followed by
you
the
had a
citizens.
meeting, put down what took place in that meeting, right or wrong. Put down what took place in the meeting and send it to them as a matter of record. See, there are two things that will happen. Either the gentleman will rebut that this thing didn't take place immediately. And if he doesn't rebut it immediately, the law says, then what were you doing here for so long? So anything that you do or any complaint that you have, put it in black and white. See, earlier you had to go visit the police station. Today you don't have to do that. You can just send an email. Digital media coming in, you just send an email or you send a WhatsApp message if you have the number.
Sir, we also have the CCTNS system where you can put in advocate information and they simply have to process it.
No,
So we are making the job pretty easier for
no, I'm
them.
sorry, I didn't get your question, Neeraj.
Sir, I said we have something called as the CCTNS
Correct.
system. Yeah, which makes it pretty easier for them to
Yeah.
understand.
No, no.
Because because under that system you can clearly enter all the information related to the accused, complainant, what conspired when. You can upload files
Yeah.
as well. All
Yeah.
these things.
But the fact is, you can send everything to them. Have you ever got an acknowledgement from any police official?
No,
Forget,
sir, I
forget a
haven't.
reply. I don't even want, but I can tell you one thing. Every mail that I've sent to the commissioner's office, I have got an acknowledgement saying that we have received your complaint. We have forwarded it to the Joint Commissioner Law and Order with a copy to you and a copy to the concerned police station. At least at the top level, I have got everything to the T. Their paperwork is absolutely clear. So send emails. Today you don't have to go. What does it cost you to send an email? And if anybody questions you on the legality of an email, Section 4 of the Information Technology Act will come to your aid. It clearly says that anything that needs to be submitted in, notwithstanding anything contained in any other act. Section 4 of the IT Act says that any mail sent to you on a digital platform is equal to sending it to you in writing. And my sincere suggestion is Google Chrome has a facility where it lets you know when your mail has been opened by the concerned person. It sends you a mail saying that this person who you wrote the mail to opened your mail after so many minutes, after so many hours, after so many days, to the minute. So that becomes your acknowledgement in court that he received it, he read it, and he didn't take action.
Now, sir, I believe you have filed an RTI within the past few days, asking for all the relevant details uh, for the applications and emails which you have sent under CRPC 154.3. Could you talk about that?
Yes, because there was no reply coming, and then like so it got to me. So I said I'll file an RTI. So I did file an RTI. Now I filed the RTI. I asked them how many 154.3 applications have been received by the concerned DCP Zone 8, excluding mine. I only want the figures. I said for how many has he taken a decision? I've asked for how many emails he's received from my email ID. And how many has he acknowledged or how many has he replied? And I've also asked them for the service rules which mandate what is the period within which he's supposed to reply to all these applications. And let me tell you, it was not an easy task getting that RTI application that day. The person who took it, the first thing she said is, हे ऑफिस मध्ये नाही बसत, या DCP झोन 8 चे जे काय असतात ते वाकोलाला असतो किंवा विलपार्लेला असतो, तुम्ही तिकडे जाऊन द्या. So I had to tell the lady की मॅडम तुम्ही हे ऍक्सेप्ट करा आणि मला फक्त एक पत्र लिहून टाका की इकडे नाही आहे, मला तिकडे जायचं आहे म्हणून. नाही तुम्हाला कळत नाही का? I said मॅडम प्लीज मी जे बोलतो ते करा, तुम्ही फक्त घ्या. So I said that what does section 5 of the RTI say? So she said yes, it says that you can give the application to me and it is my responsibility to send it to the concerned PIO. I said, then where is the question of you refusing? I said, where is the question of you refusing them? And I was with a colleague and she asked my colleague to stand outside. See, they don't like witnesses. They don't like witnesses to their conversation because they can, like Jack Robinson, they'll turn and say, I never said that. I don't know what he's talking about. So if whenever you go to meet any police officers or anybody, if it is possible, kindly take some friend of yours, some acquaintance along with you.
Sir, let's say if you're taking someone along with you and the concerned officer says that you cannot come in, please wait
He
outside, then
cannot stop
what
you.
would be
He'll say
what?
you simply say he's with me. He's
True, sir.
family.
True, sir. But still, if he insists, then what?
No,
What will be
if
your
he
reaction?
insists, you argue then. Say, no, he'll sit here. He won't talk. I'll talk. Because you're not taking your friend to talk for you, right? You're only taking him for him there to be as a witness.
Sir, I believe we can share the contents of the RTI so that in case if anyone wishes to file
Yeah, I've got it's a pub.
for their CRPC
Neeraj,
154.3.
once I filed the RTI application, it is now a public document.
Correct. No, sir. I meant for the activist as well as for
Yeah,
the
yeah. Yes.
participants over here.
I have absolutely no problem. What
Correct.
is right. You're most welcome to circulate it. That is the idea of activism, no?
So, dear participants, if you need the copy of the RTA, then kindly either contact Avsar or either contact me, and then we will forward the application to you. We will be sharing the contact details at the end of the webinar. Okay. And Rao sir, is there anything else, because see, as you said, we are taking one person along with us. Let's say if you're going to the DCP, then
Hmm.
usually what happens at the DCP office is that the senior PI is present, and along with the senior police inspector, someone else a 3-star will also be present, or else 2-star PSI will be there with him, and then the divisional ACP will also be there with him, and then there will be 3-4 people. So with the DCP there are at least 3-4 people who are there in your presence. Okay, and as a victim, if you're as an innocent victim who is going before the DCP to get your FIR registered, since the senior PI has refused to do that, okay, you're going against the senior PI, okay, and
Yeah.
that senior PI is present during the meeting, the ACP is present, the rest of the police officers are present, okay, and in their presence itself, he or she, the victim actually gets scared,
Yeah,
because there's no one along with
that
the
is
victim. Yeah.
that is the idea. So you simply tell him, sir, I've come to discuss my 154.3 application. Why do you need all these people?
So what their
Why?
usual response is that I don't know what happened. Okay, so they are here to
Sir,
explain it to
what
me. Yeah.
happened? What happened is in black and white in my application 154.3. What you didn't understand in that? What you didn't understand, you tell me. I'll explain to you.
Correct. But for a victim, to argue like you and to present
See,
the case like
Neeraj,
you, it becomes
I
very
have also,
difficult,
I
sir.
have
To be
also,
honest.
I have also started from scratch, Neeraj. When you're thrown into the waters, you have to learn to swim.
True, sir.
Correct. I mean, you can't say, what do I do? If you stand still, you'll sink to the bottom. Unless you're a good athlete, then you get to the bottom and start running at the bottom. When you get into it, you have to. And like as the Mountain Dew ad says, "Dar ke aage kya hai?"
Jeete, sir.
Exactly. They will frighten you. It is their modus operandi to frighten you. It is their modus operandi to intimidate you.
So, but why do you think, since we have a provision under the law and the officers are of IPS cadre who are supposed to follow the law,
So,
why do you think they are not passing the order under 154.3? I
because
mean, what is
nobody
the problem?
nobody nobody wants to take the responsibility. No. See, I'll tell you a simple thing. If you go to the police inspector and you tell him that my servant robbed in my house, he says, "I've FIR filed." Like, does he file it or no? Why? Because it's a poor person. But when it comes to big wigs, then they're scared. There are connections. So we have to learn to live with it. Neeraj. You have to fight. You don't have a choice. If you don't fight, they are going to crucify you. And you think they're not trying to crucify me? They've tried every trick in the book.
Sir, and I believe you had told me that we should always give in writing before any authority, and you should always take appointment
Yeah.
if possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens is you have a record. No. See, you have to meticulously maintain your records.
Sir, let's say if someone can't afford to hire a lawyer and go before the court under 156.3, uh, is there any provision? I know there is no provision, but at least can a victim, if the DCP, if the concerned DCP is not passing an order under 154.3, as you have been following it since 2016, I believe, this
Yeah.
particular matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since 2016, you have been giving them several reminders, several applications, and you have been writing to them. Okay. Will writing to the concerned jurisdictional magistrate in this matter will be of any help?
No, because
No.
they will not sumo to take any cognizance of what you've written. It will be a letter written to him. It will be on his file.
But
You see,
but they do have the
they
power
have the
to yeah.
powers. But how many use? He says, why should I be the complainant?
Correct. So the magistrate has the discretionary power, but it's all up to the magistrate whether to enforce it or
You
not.
mean to say a judicial officer, if he sees something wrong happening and it is brought to his notice, is he not supposed to act?
True, sir.
So that's it. I think we got somebody who wants to ask a question.
Yes, sir. I will unmute
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Hello.
Hi, yeah.
Hi, Ram Saab. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Sir,
Tell me.
just was hearing you on this subject and just wanted to ask you one thing. I'm in complete agreement with the system. What we are really, as far as the police department is concerned, it's one of the most corrupt department. What do you think really should be the solution which should be adopted to get the police department do their duties
Ma'am,
in accordance
like
to
I
law?
said, make them parties in all the criminal cases that you find. You don't have no other
Do
choice.
you? I just heard you saying that you were pressurized in the court as well, saying that why are you speaking loudly, right?
No, no, not
Do
in
you
the court.
think
Not in the court.
that was
This
not in the
happened.
court?
No, 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 no. It was in the office of the DCP. In the court,
It was
I maintain full decorum wherever I go.
no, that is all right. No, sometimes you know what, you have a normal voice, but sometimes because even you know how the judiciary also works,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So
It
yes,
has
but
happened. Ma'am, it has happened, but I don't lose my cool.
no, the question of losing, but what do you think should be done to put things in place,
Ma'am, you
so
need
that
to
the
see,
system really
madam.
works?
See, I'll give you a simple example. Okay, I had an ACCM who forged a prayer that didn't exist in my complaint.
Mhm.
I wrote a complaint to the vigilance. There were no replies. I kept sending mails. There were no replies. Till one day I got a letter at home saying we wanted to investigate the matter, but the then Chief Justice of the Bombay High Court said not to investigate it. Now what do? Ma'am, I have gone on record seeking sanction from the President of India to prosecute judicial officers. And the President's office has not replied to me. So you have to break the system. You think they haven't tried taking me for contempt? They've taken me thrice. And I'm facing one in the Delhi High Court as well.
Oh, sir.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I know why the President of India. Okay, could you tell the participants on why you had to make an application to the President of India?
Because he appoints the judiciary.
Correct.
He appoints the judiciary, and it is his responsibility to see that the person, because the only way you can take action against a sitting judge or a judicial officer of the Bombay High Court or the Supreme Court is by way of impeachment. There is no other way you can remove him from the post. Only he can grant you sanction if you can, and that too if you can prove with documents. Let me tell you, you can't just write one letter and say, I think this judge is bad or that judicial or no. You can't do that. You have to have your fundamentals, you have to have your documents, you have to have everything in place.
So don't you think that there should be a legislation which should be a new act should be brought in to make the entire judiciary, so also the police department and various other departments, because the height of it has reached the height of corruption, in all these departments, because whether you are an advocate or however powerful you are, but the pen is always mightier than the sword. And the system which the police is following, so also there is no accountability of to by and nobody's accountable. They are using their powers, abusing their powers. Yes. Look at the recent case of Sachin Vaze, which has just happened some time back. It is the police who themselves are doing these things. So how do you think, don't you think that there should be some act, every person, whoever, whether in power, which kind of, whether it's a police or whether it's a judiciary, has to be now that is understood that impeachment proceedings, there have been very few judges, who have, I think it was Ramaswamy.
No, it didn't happen. Ramaswamy is also collapsed, ma'am. They didn't go through the motion.
But there was initially, because it was
yes. Madam, it was a political game and he got caught in the crossfire.
Right.
Okay.
But then also, sir, because I really feel, sir, that, if really something needs to be done in this country, there have to be some things which have to be brought into, legislation I mean, the government has to come up with something so that accountability is of such a level that any person who is doing anything which is not in accordance to
Ma'am,
law.
what is your, I mean, if you don't mind me asking you, what is your profession?
I'm an advocate.
You're an advocate. Sachin Vaze was working for whom?
We all know whom he was working.
They make legislation, right?
Sir, but
No,
the whole.
no. Answer my question, ma'am. Ma'am,
Because he
ma'am,
was.
ma'am, ma'am.
Yes,
Answer my
I'm
question.
very. I'm not saying, and Sachin was, of
So
course,
there,
Sachin.
it is, ma'am. Today, like just an hour back, I was on a webinar.
Hmm.
Okay, by one of a very noted person.
Hmm.
Okay, who said that there is judicial overreach because the Madras High Court made that comment about the election commissioner.
Hmm.
Okay, being a murderer.
Hmm.
Then the Delhi High Court deciding how many oxygen ventilators should be provided. Right. They said this is not the job of the judiciary. But if the executive doesn't do its job, who is going to remind them?
Hmm. No,
I mean, ma'am, I studied the constitution, yes, but you will be knowing it much better than me.
no, sir. I am absolutely lame to it, and I'd like to
No.
learn from people like you because it is like this that the deeper you go, you have to really find the pearls. When you go deeper. So I'm learning since you have really gone deep into it and have come a long way through it. But I'm really what my observation, sir, on a very personal level is that nothing works in this country. It's like this. Even the judiciary, of course, you have
Yeah.
to be very bold to address because see,
You
most
get
of the lawyers
no,
also.
ma'am. Let me correct you there. Sometimes you get good judges. Sometimes you get good judicial officers. You have black sheep in every fraternity,
Of
ma'am.
course, yes, I do. I
You
agree
get
with you.
like the Karnataka High Court on the 24th passed an order. That is, the police picked you up before your arrest and brought you to the police station. It is illegal. Correct?
Yes.
It would take some courage for the judge to do it. No? There
Well,
was there. Sorry.
I don't think so. I disagree with you. What is the question of courage? If a person is, see, if you're sitting on, I call that chair God's chair.
Correct.
If you have been
Ma'am,
sitting there, then you are expected to act because it's your duty, to act in accordance to law. So I
ma'am,
don't think so. And it
you
should not be
just,
that there should
ma'am,
be no question of
you're just contradicting yourself.
no. I'm
No,
not.
I'll tell you why. See, the thing is, yes, we expect good judicial officers. They are supposed to do their job. They're supposed to be diligent. But the fact remains is that how many are? And when they are, at least let us appreciate when they are.
I don't
I mean,
say
I am,
that, sir, that all judicial officers are not diligent. There are few who are diligent, who are honest, upright, and do their jobs absolutely in accordance to law. But
correct.
there are other lot of judicial officers also who are absolutely corrupt.
Ma'am,
That's why they hold you up for contempt of court.
yes, like,
You
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 think that,
you
you think
suspend the
I'm not
contempt of
facing
court
it? You
act for a
think
while and see how many invite complaints against the judiciary.
you think I'm not facing it? You think
No,
I'm
I
not
heard
facing
you.
contempt?
Yes. No. You said you're facing contempt. Yes,
Then
but that's why I said if you suspend the contempt of court act for a while and invite complaints against the judiciary because there is fear in a lot of people that you can go behind bars and you can be hauled up for contempt. So that's what I said, that there are. I think it's we the people who should come together and do things about how we can, if we want to bring change.
ma'am, you want me to tell you what happened just a month back? The police recorded my statement in one of the cases.
Hmm.
Okay. And I got acknowledgements of that. And for 2 years, they were sleeping. So I went before the court and said, sir, I filed an application saying that I want an FIR filed against this police station, a police officer under 217 and 218 of the IPC. So he took the application on board. He passed an order and he said, but why are you doing it? This is, we will say that she has to come to court with the report in 1 week. And they gave it. In 1 week, after a week, the police officer didn't come. The judicial officer came down heavily on her. I mean, you have some good, some bad. And then he said, he issued a notice of contempt against the police inspector. And mind you, the moment they got that, I got a letter from the concerned police station saying, come and record your statement. I said, why are you recording my statement? It's already there on record. So he said, but I don't find it on the file. I said, that means it has been robbed, stolen from your police station. File an FIR against your officers. So they're running for that now. And the DCP has the gumption and the gall to tell me, oh, that contempt, we will face it. Yes, you will face it because he's not paying from his pocket.
See, the
He's
thing
not,
is that
he's not accountable.
though they don't respect the judiciary because they think that that is also a purchasable commodity, you know.
No.
That is the reason why people don't respect the judiciary also.
Ma'am,
And
the thing is, as far as I go to either the police station or to the court. I have full respect for the court. Let me be honest with you, ma'am. Before I went on to the criminal side, I tried it on the civil side. Okay. When civility did not work, I took it to the criminality. And let me tell you, there have been good judges. They have passed good orders. I have a judgment where they said, yes, there are certain things that have happened. And it is his responsibility to file a complaint. So you can't hold it against him. Otherwise, he's legally liable as well. I have a judge who's gone on record saying that it is unfortunate that a case is filed in 2013, heard in 2017, and today we are in 2019 and the respondents have not filed a reply. There are some good judges, all right. There are. I have met many good judges. I've seen judges who have not granted interim relief, whatever be the pressure. And I've seen judges who have granted interim relief for whatever reasons. So I've seen everything, ma'am. But I still am telling you, I still hold the courts in full respect. Because you need to go there and tell the court this is what is happening, this is what it is, and that is what it is. You see?
that's there, but because sir, lately,
ma'am,
you know,
how many advocates go against a judge or
how
a
many?
judicial officer? Or advocates. Like they
Yeah.
don't, because they say the next client will suffer.
See, most of the advocates, you know, sir, they have this fear that, you know, if they go against the judiciary or say something to the concerned judge, the judge will hold something against them and their practice is going to be hindered.
Will suffer.
You know?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You think
So
I have not suffered? Ma'am, I have suffered. I have suffered.
Yeah,
but I'm
there
still
are
going
people
through
like
it.
that. Yes,
I've
there are
suffered.
people like that. And they do hold it because, see, they hold a personal grudge against the concerned lawyer, you know. And then, you know, whenever your matter comes up, some other matter also comes up, they'll give you a tough time.
There are lawyers who told me this, ma'am. There are lawyers who
Yes.
told me, Mr. Rao, we can't take your case because this is what is happening.
Yeah,
This is what will happen. Ma'am, I was arguing a matter in the High Court. 20 minutes we were arguing till a senior counsel got up and told the honorable bench, you know, what he's arguing is right. Why are we beating around the bush? And there was pin drop silence in court. This was before a division bench. Okay. And later on, somebody told him, you know, your next case is going for a toss. It was he who said, let us see and let it go for a toss and I'll see what I have to do. How many of the lawyers would say that?
That's true. I agree with what you say, sir.
But if all of your, let me make one thing clear. Okay. When it is convenient to the advocate, you all get together against one particular judge or a judicial officer, you write a letter from the bar or wherever. Why don't we do it for everything that's happening? Wrong.
So there have been instances from the bench itself, if an upright, honest judicial officer is there and he or she is dissenting with her colleague, the kind of toughness he or she is transferred from one court to another. So the judicial officers also who are upright do face so many issues, you know.
Ma'am, somebody lost in Madam Indira Gandhi's case, somebody lost the Chief Justiceship of India because of a dissenting judgment.
Yeah, yes,
Don't
yes.
you? I can name the judge. He was A.N. Ray superseded 4 people to become the Chief Justice because he didn't dissent. So it comes with the territory, man. It comes with the territory. Either you get into it or you don't get into it. It's as simple as that.
Right, right. That's correct, sir.
It comes with the territory.
Ma'am,
Yes.
could you state your name and location, please? Because all we can see is Redmi Note 9.
My name is Mrs. Jyoti S. Iyer.
Okay.
I am now I told sir that I am an advocate, so
Okay. Fine. So, Rao sir, I
Yes, sir.
believe we have one more
thank you so
participant
much,
with
sir.
us.
Very kind of you to enlighten
Welcome.
me.
Welcome.
Ma'am, what we'll do is that since this issue is debatable on a much larger scale, okay,
Yes,
and since Rao sir has made couple of complaints against judicial officers as well, okay,
yes,
even I have made certain complaints against such judges the way in which you spoke of, okay, because
yes.
they are as a judge or as a magistrate they are supposed to follow the law, and when
Right.
they don't, then people like us we have to file complaints before the Chief Justice of either High Court or the Supreme Court, okay,
Hmm.
or before the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate or the
Right,
Principal Judge of the Sessions Court.
right.
Okay, so what we can do is we can have another session for it because since we are today, we are only focused on CRPC 154 subsection 3 and
Right.
regarding the police concerned issues, okay, on what to expect and what not to expect. And
Yeah.
I honestly wanted Rao sir personally to share his experiences so at least others would be prepared because this session is going to be uploaded on YouTube. Okay,
Okay.
and this is going to be, this has been pretty educational and I hope everyone came through some of the other information in which they found it to be very helpful. uh,
Hmm.
okay, so Rao sir will take the next question from Vikas,
Sure. Sure.
and
Thank
if
you
we
so much. It's very kind of you. We
Hmm.
will have a nice debate on this, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of interesting things which we have come across because it's not that I know much. I know very little, but I would love to share it with whatever little I understand,
No, welcome. I mean,
Because
ma'am, he's
Rao sir is a
posted, but
legend, I
no,
can't
I'm
really
not.
say that.
I'm not a legend. I've been fighting it because I had no choice.
Yeah, but
When you're
you've
pushed,
become a legend during the course of, I think you've had a long fight, sir. So, that's
yeah,
how it is.
2012 onwards.
Yeah, so that's a longer fight than
Ma'am,
what
if
we
you
have.
if you if you Google my name, you'll see my history.
Okay, that's nice.
And
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
proud
you,
to
sir.
say that it is because of people like me, Section 66A got read down by the Honorable Supreme Court in Shreya Singh's case.
So God bless you. That's all I can continue your fight and keep going, working against this absolutely corrupt systems which we have in this country. I'll tell
Like,
you, it's
what can I do if a judge grants final relief at interim stage?
that's what I said. That personally, what I feel is that something has to be done, and accountability has to be of a more. It has to be more transparent, so that people should be
I
so
used to do
scared
a
of doing
program called From the Mock-up to the Lockup, where I expose a lot of corruption. Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm absolutely telling you that, that requires to be brought out because there are many people who have faced it, but they are still not very scared to come out, and speak about it. Sometime back, there was a small article in the newspaper saying that I think it was Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice M.K. Shah, the apex court said that, they have to apply balm to understand Tiger Balm to understand the
Understand
orders passed
the
by
orders passed by the lower courts. Yeah.
yes, and
Yes.
they've spoken about the High Court, So
Right.
I actually fail to understand because they
Ma'am,
meant to
what
say
I'm asking you a simple question. What do I do if a judge say wants to agitate or take up issues where the legislature says he can't do it? What do I say?
that's what I said because see, normally if anything which the judges don't do in accordance to law, you normally write a complaint to
Ma'am,
the
you've
chief.
got my number. I mean, if we can chat privately, I'll give you documents of how far I've taken it in the judiciary.
Sir,
I am proud of an achievement in the Bombay High Court. Okay.
because now what Justice Chandrachud said was like the right people are not in the right place. That is what he meant to say.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can understand if a statement like this has been made in the newspaper saying that they have to apply tiger balm to understand the orders passed by the lower judiciary, then what remains? What should I tell you
If you
further?
if
I
you
mean, I
say
don't want to say something.
ma'am, if you're talking like that, Justice Chandrachud read down his own father's order.
Yes,
So I mean,
right.
I respect the man. I respect the man. He said, "No, my father heard, but I will not earn." It's okay, take it. So that's what I said. You have some good, you have the bad. You have to take everybody together. So that is what it is. I have, like I said, I have total respect for the law. Whether the law functions or not is a separate issue. But I would do things within the framework of the law.
Same here. So that is why I'm debating with you on this issue that something needs to be done, and together, when we join hands, you can always do things together, For a single person to do something, it's not easy. But when
do
there are
things
so
on my
many
own.
hands which come...
I prepare my own petitions. I prepare my own applications. I do everything for everybody. And I've been doing it pro bono.
So God bless you and keep going strong, I'll take your leave on this lovely debate which we had. Pleasure as usual.
Thank you.
Ayer madam, we will have another session.
May
And
who I'm conversing with? What is your name, sir, please?
My name is
He's the
Neeraj
host.
Pattat. I am from Kalyan. I am the host and moderator. Okay. So Rao sir, I know Rao sir since quite a while, and I have met him a lot of time as well. Okay. And I am also in this domain. Okay, because false case was slapped against me under 354, and I had to fight it out. And the case was initially declared as false during the course of investigation itself. B summary report was submitted to the court. However, after submission of the summary report, the magistrate did not take any action on the complainant. Okay, because where a specific law relating to a woman for the protection of the woman meant in the society, a magistrate has to take action when an abuse has been detected. Okay, although that's suo moto and it's discretionary power, you would say, but then again, the judiciary shall not be abused. Okay. Because the time of the police and the time of the judiciary is very valuable. Okay. So I have also made a complaint against the concerned magistrate. If you wish, I can also share the copy of that complaint with you.
Sure, you
okay.
can. If you can have.
And when we have this judicial session next time, what we will do is we will actually put out all the documents. Okay. So that we don't get slapped with contempt.
All right.
Okay, even if we get slapped with contempt, we will fight it out because we have very good lawyers like you. Okay, and as you said, as a lawyer, if you are worried about the repercussion of a judge, okay, or a magistrate, you can always draft it out and you can always give it to your client. Okay, ask your client to send the complaint against the judicial officer.
I always believe in one thing that, Mr. Patel, there's only one thing I believe in personally is that truth has its own power, and when you're upright and honest, there's nothing to fear. God always has his hand on people who are upright and honest, and of course, there's a lot of hard work involved because it is like some people know the judges and some people know the law, So it's like this, that if you know the law and if you're upright and honest and you work in accordance with the law, I don't think there's anything to fear. If you're good enough, people will come to you, It requires guts, You may not have worked for some time, but if you're good enough, people will come to you.
True, ma'am. But then again, it's not only about guts, We need people like Rao sir also and others from various different domains in order to help and assist us. Okay. Because I, by profession, I am not a lawyer. Okay. I've never been to college. I am a school dropout. Okay, and yet I had to learn the law. I had to learn the law. I had to fight it out from scratch. I did not know the full form of IPC, CRPC, and all other acts. Okay, some sections were slapped on me. I did not know what an FIR was. I had to learn it from scratch, and today at least I am providing support and relief to the victims. Okay, because I also went to the legal aid. Also, I did not get any help.
See,
so there are a lot of injustice happening, and Rao sir has been very kind enough. Not only Rao sir, There is a group called Petition Group in Mumbai. There are a lot of experts. What they do is that whenever they draft anything which is worth helpful, okay, for the citizens, activists, lawyers, anyone can use it. It's not restricted to, okay, I am a lawyer, I will give only my format to a lawyer. Okay, here we don't do any discrimination. Here we give it out to everyone. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and use it, you kindly use it. Okay, if you go to petitiongroup.com, there are several websites. I mean, I have shared my number. You can get in touch with me, and then I'll be very happy to give you all the resources available. Okay, because we
No,
want.
definitely. But I just tell you only one thing. You know, a law does not really require, it requires common sense and logic, you know.
Correct, ma'am. But then how
You
many
don't need
people
to
do
be,
take the
see,
effort
because
and how many people apply and go for it? Because it's very time consuming. Now, sir, you're muted. We can't hear you. Because it's time consuming and you know then again people don't want to take the effort, and even if they take the effort, how many years will they fight it out? Finally they will say, okay, fine, we fought for 5 years, 10 years, we don't have the energy, we don't have the money, and we don't have the resources to go further.
that's what
Like
they
there are many
say.
petitions that I mean they draft, they give it to me, I proof it, correct it, send it back. Like what little we can do, we've been doing for a lot of people.
You know, Mr. Patel, litigation is supposed to be a luxury. It's a rich man's expense, you know, so everybody cannot.
Exactly, ma'am, that's what.
Yeah,
Ma'am, it's
it's not
become
easy.
it's become like that.
Yes,
If you
because
if
see,
you
what happens is that if you see the top-notch lawyers who are appearing as counsels in the Bombay High Court, they have a particular fee for a particular day's appearance. It is
I
not for
agree with
every
you.
person within
It's
every
not for the
person's
common man.
reach.
Yes, I agree with you. I totally
Yes.
agree with
So yeah, so that's what it is. And now, and you can't blame them also because it is their bread and butter as well, you know.
you. Correct. No. Ma'am,
Anyway.
let me tell you, you're forgetting the jam and the marmalade.
Yeah, that's what even I wanted to highlight, sir.
No, it's okay. Come on, let's go to Vikas.
Because at every stage
Thanks,
you need
ma'am.
to
Nice
give.
talking to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, pleasure, sir. To both of y'all, God bless y'all, and please take care of your health.
Yeah,
And to
thanks.
everybody, I hope everybody is taking good care of their health and looking after it, which is of primary importance at this stage and time. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Chalo.
God bless y'all.
Yeah,
I'll
you
take care.
have a nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir, the next question will take it from Vikas. Vikas, please go ahead.
Yeah, Vikas, go ahead.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Vikas.
Sir, sir, actually, sir, my question is actually I got a FIR registered on me under 498 and blah blah sections.
Correct.
What happened? And 125 case was also filed on me.
Okay.
In that case, particularly, I filed 340, where OP got dates. That her dates are wrong. What she mentioned, nothing happened on that date. After that, she changed the complaint, her original complaint, made cutting in that complaint. After registration of FIR, but challan was not filed in the court. And I got a copy from RTI, that original complaint, which was unchanged. When challan was presented in the court, then I got two copies. In one there was different date, and in different there were different dates. So I filed against that police IO and that opposite party. But that was dismissed under 156.3. That was under 202, and I challenged that. And meanwhile, departmental inquiry was initiated against that police
IO.
officer.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. So in that, but they proceeded her, let her go. Nobody watched her while doing cutting. They said, yes, we accept there is cutting in complaint, but nobody watched her. So there is no sufficient evidence against her. So benefit of doubt. And in that case, her witness was my wife. Her defense witness was my wife.
Vikas, what is the question?
So this is the question. What can I do against that police officer?
No, you said departmental inquiry is going on against the officer, no?
Sir, in that departmental inquiry, she was acquitted. They said we got they said that although there is cutting in that complaint, but nobody watched her doing cutting. But that was her responsibility. File was in her custody.
Correct. I agree with what you're saying. See, because I think we've had a number of discussions on this earlier also. I mean, not on the program, but off the program. Unfortunately, what is happening is courts down your side are doing exactly what it pleases them. So we really can't do much. You have to move the Supreme Court with all your things in an SLP. You don't have a choice now. Because I think even you went even to the High Court, right, Vikas? Hello? Vikas?
Hello? Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Because you also went to the High Court, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you did not get relief there also, right?
Yes, sir. That was a 340 case. They said it's premature.
Okay.
Anyhow,
fine.
that will file. But what the judges said.
But why don't you go under 482 for rectification or action against these people to be included as accused in some in your FIR?
Sir, earlier I went directly in High Court. I discussed with you also in medical. You earlier said that will be dismissed, and finally that is dismissed.
No, because in medical, what happens is the courts don't want to go through all the headache of medicals and all that. We need to prove, have documentary evidence of a lot of things. Because unfortunately, what happens is also how you present your case also is very important. No, so we need to take it from there, because I think we need to discuss this at length. So why don't you call me another time and then we can discuss this.
Okay, anyhow, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. You are very cooperative, sir. Thank you so much,
no
sir.
problem. Yes.
Rao sir, we have one question from Mr. Hari Murlidhar.
Yeah.
He is asking that if the DCP does not allow the accompany, with the person with you, and insist that he will not listen to you or allow you, or you will not be heard, then what is it that we need to do from our end?
You write a letter that I was not allowed my person to come and sit with me because I was scared of the issue.
Sure, sir. Letter will come later, but during that particular time, then, what is it?
See, played by the ear, Neeraj. If he says no, okay, like that day, like my friend was with me, and the lady said go out. He looked at me. I kept him waiting for a couple of minutes, and then afterwards she said, "Sir, COVID rule hai, so distance maintain karo." Then I told my colleague, just step back. So he stepped back 3 feet. There's nothing. See, what is important to us is the meeting with him. Correct? So we have to focus on getting that meeting. If he doesn't allow your accomplice, you stand out, you go inside, come back, write what has happened and send it to him. Prepare a record of what happened. Neeraj, what am I saying? Because in that meeting, you think he's going to say, yes, my officers heard, I'm sorry, we're correcting a mistake, we'll do. He's not. He's going to give you excuses.
Correct.
So you put those excuses in writing and send it back.
Correct. So Mr. Hari, what you can do is you can keep your accompanying person outside, and then you can go and meet the DCP. And after the meeting is over, then you can go home and to your office, and accordingly you can write it out the entire incident that so and so person was accompanying me, he was not allowed, and whatever happened during your meeting, you can put it to the higher authorities as well, and then it will be taken on record. At least you can produce it later in your matter. Sir, one more question from him. How does one deal with false atrocity filed by a police officer?
No, false atrocity. Now, I don't know why will the officer want to file a false atrocity on you in the first place?
Correct, sir. But usually what we have seen is that,
let just unmute Hari so we can get it from him what he wants to say.
Okay, I've unmuted him, sir.
Yeah. Hari, good evening, Hari. Tell me.
Good evening, Rao साहब. कैसे हैं आप?
मैं ठीक हूँ, बोलिए.
Sir, yes, two questions. The one which was put before. See, I accompanied DCP to DCP office with one of my colleagues. I was the one who was accompanying him. Okay. he is asking me to put out. Sometime even I had gone for my own cases. See, if he doesn't allow, I writing, this is only a piece of paper which is going in the dustbin or is on his file. When he's not committed any offense, this does not go as no action would be initiated. He didn't allow me. I just did a paperwork. This is what sense will it make? I made effort.
Hari. Correct. What will this paperwork do? I'll tell you. Okay. Not today, tomorrow. If you decide to take this matter to court, or your friend decides to take this matter to court, you can always say, I went with him and they didn't allow. So there is a record. Otherwise, it is just
if I don't attend the hearing and say that you allow me because I write in the letter that I am going to come with a company. If you have any objection, you allow me, you let me know before, which is not been told. Okay. And still not been allowed.
No, so you tell him you didn't refuse. So show me a refusal in writing and say, no, he'll sit. What will he do? We'll not have the meeting. But then what purpose will that serve, Ravi? Hari, sorry, what purpose? At the end of the day, let your friend have the meeting. Whatever happens at least see what you will know the mind of the officer, no?
Okay. We'll know the mind of the officer.
See, that is very important for you. If you don't go for the meeting or you don't attend the meeting, you don't know. He'll say, I told him not to come. Okay. The other person could have come. Or what will a judge say? You could have gone. Why you wanted somebody? Okay, let us say he didn't come. You could have gone. You would have known. You could have written what happened. See, you're giving your opponent a chance to put you down. And in the legal fraternity, let me make it very clear, each of this counts. Okay, if not today, when the matter does go to court, there is a document, there is a letter. See, if he is not refuted what he has stated, that means he is accepting the contents of the letter. Correct?
Yes.
So that will help you in your case. But by not doing it and think, see, this is exactly where most of us slip up. अरे लेटर लिखने से क्या होने वाला है, ये करने से क्या होने वाला है, अगर कुछ नहीं हो रहा तो फिर
we still write. No, we still write. But what I mean to say, if he is not allowing, I am still doing our paperwork. But
no, you see, if he is not allowing, he is not allowing, Hari. But let that meeting take place between him and your friend.
So that's how we allow. Hence it's a definite frustration when it doesn't allow us. Anyway, second question, which I said. See, these days false atrocity cases. Even Parambir Singh, the former commissioner of Mumbai Police, got the similar. See, you mean to say we have not come across it? You even know Kamlakar Shenoy. He also has gone on under a false atrocity. These days we come across any official.
You think I have not got a call?
No, yes,
I have got a call, but I told the police inspector, if you are saying that there is an atrocities case filed against me, send me the goddamn notice first.
No, fine. Notice.
Okay. And second thing is, who's filing the complaint? So he gave me the name. I said, do you know that I and that person have not met each other or spoken to each other for the last 4 years? So where is the question of atrocity? They will try the stunt. See, they will try every stunt under the sun.
No, this stunt is the atrocity and is very dangerous.
That is why, Hari, that is why now the courts have come very clear that there is no need of immediate arrest under the Atrocities Act. So see, there is somebody who's working. I mean, somebody took it to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court said, yes, let us, presuming there is a thing, you don't have to immediately arrest him. If he doesn't come for the investigation, then you arrest him. So you have got a protection there, Hari. See, because I said, what does 154 say? Anybody can file a complaint, cognizable offense revealed, and FIR can be filed against you.
Correct.
But you have protections in this. And now, like I said, if it is less than, if the punishment is less than 7 years, a 41A notice is mandatory. So today you are getting safeguards. There are judgments coming out to that effect. Like I said, Arnish Kumar, because of which now no police officer can tell you police station aajao on the phone. Correct. So things are happening, Hari, because there's somebody who's worked. See, I have taken the matter to court. I have got some orders, good orders. Somebody else is taking the matter to court. They've got good orders. So the thing is, because we all thought we should do something, we are going somewhere. Otherwise, we'd be stuck. And there is no point sitting at home and crying. Correct. See, because people ask me, क्या उखाड़ लिया तू? I said, मैंने कुछ भी नहीं उखाड़ा. मैंने कुछ भी नहीं उखाड़ा. लेकिन जिस दिन तू बात करेगा और बोलेगा साला ये सिस्टम खराब है, तो बोला मैं तो लड़ रहा था, तू तभी चुप बैठा. आज तेरे को लगा तो तू मेरे को बोल रहा है ना. So the thing is,
Correct.
the problem with this hurry is we are waiting for someone, somebody, somewhere to do something. And that is the problem. So it's okay. I mean, once you get into it, hurry, then you're in it or you're out of it. There's no two things about it.
Correct.
Anybody else?
Sir, I don't see any hands and I don't see any question also
Okay.
in the chat section. So I believe
We can close it. Yeah,
it up. If you would, yeah. So if you would like to say something before closing,
it's
then
all.
please.
All I said is that keep your paperwork right, do things the right way, have things in black and white, so you can show not only to yourself but to anybody. Like मैं लिखा, मैंने किया, I'm doing this, I have done this, and I'll be doing this. So that's it. And all I say is have faith in God. The truth will come out. The truth will come out. It's a matter of time, but the truth will come out. So have that little bit of patience. That's all I can tell you. And Neeraj, I thank you for this platform, inviting me to speak here. I thank
Welcome, sir.
everybody
Welcome
for
anytime.
coming, joining us here.
Sir, I think we should do it much often on various topics because these are very valuable
I
sessions.
understand, Neeraj, we should, but the fact remains is that somebody should take the initiative.
True, sir. No, I will take the initiative. Let's do it
I
on a
have no
regular
issues.
basis.
I mean, I can be a speaker.
Okay.
We can get others to. You can get others to speak as well. So that is not a problem.
Correct. And whatever evidence and documentary proofs we have, I believe that is more than sufficient to prove, to back it up, on whatever we are talking about. Although we were not able to do it today, but I believe for the next webinar we can do that.
That's not a problem. We can do that.
Yeah. No, because what happens is that, they are making all these big claims, but where are the documents for that?
So that's
okay. So if we could display it side by side, then it would be pretty helpful during the video itself, so that no one can say that this is something which they have made up or all these things. So anyways, I will just end it. Okay, dear participants, thanks for attending today's webinar session.
Have a good day.
We hope it was really useful and educational, and the experiences which were shared by Mr. Rao, I hope you were able to get some good experience out of it. This video will be uploaded to YouTube. I have shared my number and Rao's number as well. You can connect with him, and I suggest you to message him first and not directly give him a call, since he is also very busy with his activities and helping out other people as well. And as I've said earlier, he also conducts a lot of webinar and training sessions for law students, lawyers, high court judges, and other law firms and other law organizations as well. So I kindly request you to message him first and then connect with him later. Okay. So with this, I end the session. Thank you, Rao, sir. Thanks a lot. Have a good night, everyone.
Everybody.